please listen up. Yes, we see the map on Mỹ Sơn cemetery, and we are here. Yeah. We're gonna walk up this way to the center of the cemetery. There's a lot of English temples built from 1,000 years ago by the Cham emperors. Yeah, there were up to 70 monuments found by the French archaeologists in late 19th century, in the time when we were the French colony. So, unfortunately, we got the Vietnam War, which damaged so many monuments, and we only have 19 of them left, and they're mostly located here. So we're gonna spend most of our time visiting the same empty. Now the ruins can be seen on the way. You just walk around there and take the photos with these. So, who are the Cham people? See, we have so many different tribes, the different ethnic groups in Vietnam. And we are not the Cham people. Cham people who now live in the south of Vietnam, in some provinces like Ninh Thuận, Bình Thuận, or in Mekong Delta. But this area was their land, their territory, and there used to be a Champa kingdom existed in central Vietnam that was from the 2nd to the 19th century. Yeah, it eventually became the part of the Vietnam kingdom.
I'm sorry, you said from 2nd century until when?
The 19th century, early 19th century.
1,700 years or so.
Yeah. But you see, they lost the territory eventually. Yeah, the north part of the territory just belonged to the Viet land in around the 13th, 14th century. Yeah, and then moved southward to the south. However, the Cham people were very much connected to India. Yeah, through trading activities. Indian traders were here for exchanging the goods, silk, Chinese medicine herbs, ginseng and the others, the roots as well. And they were bothering the agar wood. You guys know agar wood. It's good materials for making incense and others things. And also some jungle products. And the Indians were here for collecting the spices as well. That was how Hinduism spread into this area. And it quickly became the national religions as well as the religions for the royal class of the Cham kingdom. The first temple was built right at this area in the 4th century. Yeah. So since the first temple was built, the emperors by later generations just came to build their own monuments, the temple, to express their reverence to the gods in Hinduism. Yeah, and over many different dynasties, we have so many different clusters to be built here. So, ancient emperors and also his family just came to practice Hinduism rituals. So about the rituals, you're gonna listen to me. Yeah, while we enter into the complex. So you see, the site here is comparing to the other sites in Southeast Asia, like Angkor Wat in Cambodia or Borobudur in Indonesia. This one is much smaller. Yeah. However, it's much older. If you know that Angkor Wat was built as around the 12th century, and Borobudur is around the 10th century. Yeah. So the main materials ancient people built these monuments was baked bricks from clay. Yeah. However, the technique ancient people used preserving the bricks over 1,000 years is still quite mysterious. Yeah, nobody knows how they preserve their bricks so well in such a condition of the humidity. It rains a lot here. Yeah, but the bricks stay in the original colors and it's preserved to be very clean. They resist so well to the moths as well. So we got opportunity later to see the difference between the original one and the restored one. And also, we're gonna learn a lot about the culture of the Chan people. We're gonna see how much Indian influence as well as how much different it has in comparing to the other sides in Southeast Asia. So would you please just follow me by now and you're gonna learn a lot more. Please follow me this way. Look around here, you see a lot of mountains. We are now in the middle of a valley. Yeah, the valley is also called the Mỹ Sơn Valley. So since the 4th century, when the first temple was built here, and also the whole valley was dedicated to the god. Nobody came here to live, they just came here to practice Hinduism ceremony.
Hinduism?
Hinduism, right. It was not like Angkor Wat in Cambodia. It was first for Hindu and later became an Indian Buddhist place. This place was only for Hinduism. Well, as you can see, most of the monuments were built in baked bricks. They look very red. Later you get closer and you see the difference between the original one and the restored one we did in 1980s or in 2002. So each of the cluster has about from 1 to more than 10 monuments, and this is called the cluster C, that is cluster B. Yeah, the division was given by the French archaeologists because there was first group of archaeologists to be here studying about the history and the culture of this place. So this one is named C1, C7, C5, and the other C. And we have this one called B1, B2, 3, 4, 5, and the other B. Yeah, when you go from one to another cluster, you always see such a structure, a division. The major temple is the one located in the middle, and thus is where they worship one of the three most important gods in Hinduism, like Shiva, Brahma, and Vishnu. And here they worship the Shiva. Yeah. You know that these three gods stand for different powers in Hinduism. You know, Shiva is god of destruction and recreation, while Brahma is god for the creation, and Vishnu is the one who stands for the preservation. So the ceremony was celebrated from the east to the west of the cluster. People went to another hall on the other side before passing the gate to stand in front of the temple. We are now at the back of the temple. So you see, in each of the temple there is always an altar. Have you heard about an altar, what is called a linga and a yani, symbolizing the power of male and female to express the fertility belief. People in Southeast Asia worship the fertility, which was very important to these people because their life was very much relied on water agriculture in the capital. They all wish for more children, more animal babies, for more meat, and also better harvest. That's why they worship the fertility. And also, fertility was just something about, a belief. It's not about religion. People here worship the Hinduism. So you're gonna see an altar that represents the Shiva god in this place as well. So now let's follow me to get closer to learn more about this. This monument here is dated back to the 10th century. That one in the corner is the one in the 7th century, at around late 7th. You see the color of the original bricks. It's much different with the one we restored in 1980s. These were rearranged with the mortar of cement. See, and it became very dark and sometimes very massive, very grand. Now look at the original. The color is completely different. Huh?
This is the original. This is the.
Yeah. So they all look new and the new look old. That's the basic difference. You see, original bricks still get some problem with the marks, especially at some crack. Some crack. or some broken surface. Like up there, you're gonna see the broken surface has the marks to grow on that, but not on the intact one. Archaeologists and researchers believe that something was coated on the surface of this brick to help preserve them, and that's what we still haven't known yet. Yeah, you see, with modern technology, we have the opportunity to analyze the components of these bricks, and we found that these just came from normal clay. It's not different from our new one. Even we know the Chan people took the clay from not a far place. It is just about 4 kilometers outside. 4 kilometers outside. And we try to exploit the clay from same area, but we can't achieve the same quality of the bricks. That's interesting. Yeah. So the second thing I want to tell you is here. See the gap between the two bricks. Look carefully and you will realize that the bricks that bound together so tight. There sometimes seems to be not any gap in the two bricks because they're so tight. Yeah. So we always wonder if there was any mortar between the two bricks here. Yeah. So since the French found the monuments up to now is already more than 120 years. But it's still very controversial about this technique, the way how the bolted bricks together. Recently, we got opportunity to work with Italian expert restoring the group tree on the hill. If you have time, please take a look later on the hill there. And archaeologists from there found resin. You know resin? Yeah, resin. The oil from the tree, or the sap from the tree, what is very sticky. If you ever been to our beaches, where you can see some of the rowboats. Have you ever seen the rowboats?
Yeah.
We call them the bamboo basket boats. These boats are made of bamboo sticks, knitted together, and they sell the boats with buffalo poos and resin. Nice. That's true because resin is actually not very cheap to some people. So the first sell the buffalo poos on it and the resin on the outside. This really waterproof. Maybe the new iPhone is going to get this to make it waterproof. Better one. Right, so we found resin here between the two bricks, but no buffalo poo. That's good. Right. You see, when you walk around of the temple, you don't see any windows. Thus is the basis different between of the design between the temple to the other monuments that were particularly used for the different purpose. And around the temple, you usually see the sculpture of these human beings is not gods; they're just women prayers. The Chan people follow the society structure of maternity. The children born with the names of the wife's side, the family name of the wife's side, is opposite to the Viet culture. You see, and sometimes the wife would be the one to ask to marry the man. This good is less expensive for men. Yeah, so I'm gonna show you the way how they celebrate it.
Is there any interior to this, or this is just exterior?
The
Is there an
temple,
entrance?
yeah, the temple has usually one door.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
the
that's on the other
doors
side.
in this cluster usually face east.
East.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, please take a look there. You see that long hall? 1, 2, and 3. There is always such a connection of 3 monuments. People went in from the east door of that long hall. Yeah, and reach up this way. Reach up this way. So the long hall was what we call a meditation hall. The people went in for meditating, removing their thinkings as a normal human we have, loves, desires, wishes, or possession. These are not allowed to err in their mind when they came past the gate to stand in the world of the God. That's what they believe. So behind the gate is said to be a human world, and on this side of the gate is the world of the gods, the world of purity. And people came over here it was not. It doesn't mean that everybody can be the one to enter the monument, the temple here. Only the priest who was then allowed to get in. Yeah, I'm not sure if from school you can you learn about the caste system in India, the caste system. You see, the priest is on the highest class, and then the royal family, the rich people, and normal people, and the untouchable, the poor and the slavery. So it depends on where we're born to, what job we're allowed to take, who we're allowed to get married with. When we die, where our ashes from cremation should be buried at as well. The priest is on the highest of the caste system. He is the only one to be allowed to get inside and communicate to the God and ask for something. Yeah. So let's become the priest to get inside the temple if you want. Then take a look over here. This is the altar. The altar. Indian people call this part Shivaling, meaning a symbol of Shiva God, and also the symbol of the male, fearless symbol for man. And this is a yoni, the symbol of female, put together to express fertility. During the ceremony inside the temple, I mean, this altar belonged to another temple, which only they broken down. So inside the temple, the priest went in there with the water and milk, and he poured them up here. It flowed down, then it combined two factors, and people pray for more children, more animal babies, for more meat, and better harvest. That's the meaning of the ceremony. Sometimes you don't see such a rock here, but you see a statue of Shiva sitting or standing on it. There was one standing in this room before the French archaeologists took the statue to the museum in Da Nang. The statues from this relic here should have been much better to be there in the museum than here. You know why? They have stolen. Yeah, like what happened to the statues over the corner. Yeah. You're gonna go down that way and see the statue later. So during the ceremony, when the water bathed through the body of the god, it became holy. It's very similar to the Christianity or Buddhist ceremony. You see, we believe when something goes past the body of God, it becomes holy. And people that was emperors and royal family members drank the water to pray for good luck, good health, and bigger generation. Remember that ceremony? The ceremony was never celebrated inside such a monument. The one with windows, this was not a temple. Particularly, this one was used as a storage. After the ceremony, when they had the abundant meal, abundant water to have it safe. Yeah. So while that one was where they took the water and milk and other offerings from to enter the monument. And that's where the gate and then the meditation hall. It won't be different when you enter this cluster: meditation temple, gate, and meditation hall. The house preparing the offerings, and another beautiful storage. That's it. So let's take some pictures around here and we enter close to the
thắp sáng những hy vọng của một con người. Mỗi đêm lang thang tìm những lối ra, khi đôi chân đi hoài không nghĩ đã bao ngày, cứ mong trở về bờ vai ai